Welcome, guys, once again
What?
back to the theme which we are covering today: human desire for freedom and knowledge. In the previous episode, we painted a picture on how such an endeavor might look at what how curiosity acts within us, how it causes us to explore uncharted territories. How do we grapple with the unknown, and how do we bring it to perspective, or rather endeavors which may not cause harm or be of negative effects into our lives. Yeah.
Nice.
The question or the theme that I want us to look at in this episode is: if freedom without wisdom and knowledge, without guidance, can lead to pardon if freedom without wisdom and knowledge, without guidance, lead to ruin, what then is the path that makes us truly whole?
Yeah. Well,
That's quite heavy.
if freedom without
Knowledge and understanding.
knowledge and understanding, without guidance,
Lead us to ruin, what truly makes us whole?
I'm sitting with that question for a moment,
Mhm.
and I'm like, kusema tu ukweli, there are very many things there are to pursue in terms of knowledge.
My experience.
There are very many things to pursue.
That's how we practice our freedom.
Yes.
Mhm.
But it seems to me ni kama those things are very mundane.
Are very
Those things are very, very mundane.
mundane in what terms?
They are... I'd say they are sort of limited in a way. They are simply, not that they are bad, not that they are not objective. They are simply things to help us understand in the grand scheme. Okay, there are things that are meant, there are things that are to just sort of help us. Yani unaona ni kama ile unapatia tu mtoto kitu ajue chenye atafanya naye. I'm looking at it that way. If we had the body of whatever we might conceive as knowledge, whatever we might conceive as wisdom, pia understanding, kuna hizo ni vitu tu I think zime happen as a consequence. Kusema tu kweli, nowadays I don't know if it's a bias, but it seems to me manze kusema zile vitu zenye Biblia you mention, ukifikiria ni nini exactly Biblia inasema.
There is a question umeniuliza tu saizi. Do you really need to know it? Do you really need to experience?
That's what I'm trying to sort of paint a picture of.
Yeah.
So unapata if unaona hiyo story ya Adam and Eve, sisi binadamu tulikuwa created with a certain capacity I don't think right now we have a conception of, but it's one that didn't need us to pursue things we call knowledge wisdom understanding. Kusema tu ukweli, I think they were created with the capacity that they knew, if there was any knowing to it, they knew what reality was from that level from that dimension. They like hakukuwa na need ya it's one thing to pursue something, but it's another to actually, it's another thing to have it as your reality. Like it's your reality. Wow, unaona pursuit meant nothing to them. Like you could jaribu ku pursue something, it was non-existence for them. Unaona, because while you operate from a point of knowledge, a point of wisdom and understanding that I don't think we have a conception of. Let me give an example.
Yeah.
Having to name the animals. I mean, we mention that very lightly, we read it and we do not really understand what it actually means. Like unaona ati kukuja kudefine unaona venye wanyama, the way we know animals right now. Adam had an understanding of what these animals actually were, how they actually functioned and stuff like that. So meaning Biblia ikisema that mankind was given dominion over the earth. There's nothing new that an animal could do, ama there's nothing of consequence that an animal could do that could either affect Adam ama could surprise Adam.
Or rather, there is no amount of information.
Yes, that
My experience, even
that
even
he had
experience
to exactly he had to sort of
angepata
tap into so that aelewe.
ingeka like geni ama
Exactly. It's like saying saizi tungejua everything there is to know, we wouldn't need to develop the kinds of technologies we are developing. Actually,
no,
simply
even
put, ni
it's
hivi.
not even the need. It's like there is no this it's like a rush. It's this compulsion of I wanna get to know it, understand it.
Exactly. And unajua hii may happen as a consequence of the fall.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that we are now trapped with time, the fact that now things are hidden, the fact that we have to do something to get something. These are things that have happened as a consequence of the fall.
There is this new religion kind of thinking that you attract what you are. It's like
hiyo ni kitu ina happen in the fall.
Eh?
Hiyo ni kitu ina happen within the fall. Like unaona hizo laws, for example, people think about the laws of attraction, ati you attract to what you are and stuff like that. Well, ni ukweli there's a sense to that, but the reason why it's there, it's because that law
You've
only
already
functions
lost it.
within time. It functions within time.
yeah.
There's a realm, according to the biblical narrative, there's a realm where those things, you don't even need them. And I think that's the realm that Adam and Eve were created into.
It's more of I'm looking at this picture. It's like in the Garden of Eden, things happened at their own time.
Things just happen in their own accord, not their own time.
Yeah. Yeah, not the
Actually,
time
you will even say Adam and Eve had the capacity to even influence.
yeah.
Time.
It was like the nature of things.
Yes. Not things of Adam and Eve.
And what
Because
they were-
unaona wanyama and all that, hizo zilikuwa governed by the laws of time. Because as long as you could eat an animal, it means an animal could die. You know, an animal could be extinct and stuff like that. Unaona, tukiambio, the Bible says that all these things, use them for food.
it's like,
From the perspective of the animals,
it's
they
like,
could die. They could die.
I've heard this preaching. The preacher said that man was made to like experience things, but not things as in it's like I have missed the words. It's like things not to experience, to get their form or nini through him.
Relay that again.
Wait.
That man was not meant to experience things.
Not I'm not getting it. It's more of like unaweza experience vitu na pia vitu zinaweza experience through you, as in they can come to no, that's not making sense.
Wachana tu nayo. Wachana tu nayo. So I was now saying,
but the idea I'm trying to paint is more of dominion. It's like man was meant to have dominion of things, but not things have dominion over him.
That includes
Knowledge.
laws, and knowledge is a law.
Yeah.
Knowledge is actually a law. And unaona sasa after the fall, now we tukakua subjects to the laws within time. So that also means what we knows. So that means what we know
is subject
ikakuwa
to,
sort of pia limited. Unajua, as long as you bring in the word limited, there's an essence of time in it.
Isn't that a form of a matrix? It's like your understanding ama what you know is limited towards this.
To sasa your experience of it. Yeah, but that could be a matrix. I agree. It could be a matrix. The fact that, especially saizi, I think the biggest debates, I think everything just goes back to this kind of a debate. The existence of the spiritual ama the existence of God. Unaona, unapata
Ama
the thinking of atheism.
Experience.
Yes, hizo ni very subjective things.
You just think it's a new thing just because you're experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah.
But the experience is already there without you. Isn't that... Does that make sense? It's more of the thing which you're experiencing. It's already there. It's just you think that it's new because it's your first interaction with it, and that's what Adam lost when he fell. It's like he lost this kind of. It's more of kind of thinking I'm a power that this is not the first time I'm interacting with this thing.
Actually, I am not even supposed to be sort of influenced by these things. But it's like saying God does not change. There's nothing we can do that can change God.
There is nothing new under the sun.
Exactly. Unaona. So unapata nilikuwaga nasema utu tu vitu tunajaribu kufanya in terms of science, academia, business, etc. Ni kama ni vitu tu mtoto tu amepatana nazo na try to figure out what exactly if there's even anything that lies beyond. Sasa unapata the problem that a concept like atheism presents is that all there is to know is the physical universe. Like there's nothing more than that. There's just nothing more than that. That is basically what atheism is just trying to tell us. But reading from history itself, people who have gone before us, even today, there seems to be more. I also don't, sometimes niona ni kama atheism contradicts itself. Unajua ukisema ati this is all we know, so hata ukikufa.
But to me,
it's just
the major problem I have with atheism is it's more of like their thinking is limited to what they know.
Yes. Ama what can be known.
Yeah.
Unaona. Na pia what can be known
it's like
depends.
You're trying to figure out your way, but you start from what you know.
You limit yourself from what you know. Through unaona, especially science, the material universe.
You're part of this simulation that if you start thinking in the simulation, whatever you think has no basis. It's limited to what's in the simulation. But we are talking of this kind of perception that it's like, you first need to get out of the simulation so that you might quantify what's happening. That's where you bring things like religion and nini, because it's like texts that were given to us which were not part of these whatever is happening on earth.
Yeah. Sometimes I also think, unaona mse kama Adam and Eve, I think how they experience their reality is also something we do not really have a conception of. Yeah, so I'm thinking also in these terms. There's another Adam who came after the first Adam. So I was kind of... there's another Adam who came after the first Adam, yeah.
I've never heard of that.
The last Adam, Jesus Christ. You've never read something like that in the Bible. Read your Bible. Yeah, Jesus Christ, St. Paul actually calls him the last Adam. So sometimes, mi try kufikiria, Christ is God himself. He came in the form of man. So na try kujiuliza, how exactly did he think of himself? So did he think of reality the way we do? No. So assuming at that time if people were studying things,
that's the idea of you need something that's not part of reality to explain to you what reality is.
Yeah, so unaona mtu sasa kaa Yesu, I'm trying to say
you can never get the whole picture of the simulation if you are in the simulation.
So how do you even get out of it?
You need something that's not part of the simulation,
which is,
I don't know, but at least tume
sasa ndio nakwambia hizi unaona this kind of an endeavor ama these kinds of questions that we are asking ni vitu tu ziko sisi ni kama watoto, we are trying to figure things out, and at the end of the day I'd even say they do not matter.
Yeah, they do not.
But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't pursue them. It doesn't mean that science does not matter. It doesn't mean that at the end of the day, there's this kind of a dualistic paradox that it presents that yes, it matters, but at the same time, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter, because if you're just gonna die, I mean, it's an evil. Vitu tumediscover, what effect is it gonna have in the universe? Is it gonna change anything?
Let me ask you a question. How can you describe a parable?
What exactly are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to get maybe even our linguistic interpretation of things can't really quantify what's happening. Remember, even Jesus taught in parables. It's like, for you to be amongst, to be first, to be counted first amongst men, you must consider yourself last.
Least among men.
What does that mean? You see, it's like, it's something that even our linguistic words cannot quantify what.
Because we are trying to use what we know.
To grapple with the effects of something that's already unknown to us. Maybe that's the issue. The issue is we are trying to counter the unknown based on what we know.
Yeah.
And that's just our child's play.
Exactly. And so that's where the sense of it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter anyway.
Because enyewe mtu hadi unafikaga mwisho unaona
So,
I make sense. Na wengine wanasema
marriage at I make sense.
As in,
Yvonne.
maybe it's because we are trying to approach all of these endeavors based on what we already know.
Yeah. Ndio sasa nilikuwa nakwambia unaona, when it comes to knowledge, wisdom and understanding, nimekuwa nikitry kufikiria and maybe to even do some research of what knowledge is. Knowledge is, there's a way it's being defined in certain aspects. For example, in philosophy, there's a definition of knowledge. Actually, philosophy itself is the love of knowledge. Philosophy comes from is it Latin or Greek words? Philia na is it Philia na Sophia? Sophia, I think your knowledge na Philia means love, so the love of knowledge. So I'm not sure if knowledge, how knowledge is really defined in philosophy, but there's a way it's being defined in philosophy. Ukikuja to religion, there's also a definition of, now hii ni just a broad categorization in religion, but sasa ukikuja to Christianity itself, there's something that is very, very specific about wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Something that is very, very highly defined. That has nothing to do with philosophy, has nothing to do even with psychology ama science ama whatever. Unaona? Na ukitry kufikiria hizi zingine apart from Christianity, utaona kusema tu ukweli, at the end of the day, they don't matter. Unaona hizi discoveries zote that we've made, they don't matter. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't pursue such things. But it's first realizing that at the end of the day, they do not matter, that we might even understand why we even need to engage in it.
Maybe the things that drives us to engage in things, maybe that's what we are getting it wrong at first.
Yeah.
Most of the time we seek it, we really start out pursuing things in order to know them.
Yes.
Why do you need to know?
Na hizo ni things. But unaona sasa in terms of Christianity, especially what the Bible is saying, allow me to give you probably an opinion of what I've so far understood. The knowledge that we are being required to pursue, the knowledge, the understanding, the knowledge and the wisdom we're being required to pursue is one that is known as the fear of God. The fear of God. Like there's nothing else that matters other than that.
It's based on that the others are created.
Not that it's based on that others are created, because assuming if we are all to operate from the fear of God, trust me, we don't need other things. Because it's from the fear of the law. Unaona hivyo venye nilikuwaga nasema Adam and Eve, their reality was that information. Like they knew. If there was any knowing in the concept of Adam and Eve, they knew.
It's like knowing that you don't need to know.
Exactly. That's in a sense the point. In a sense, that's actually the point. There was nothing to know.
Alex.
There was nothing to discover really.
That's what faith is. Operating
from a point of knowledge. Actually, that is exactly what Hebrews chapter, I think 11 ama 12 verse 1 and 2. I think it's 11 ama 12 hapo. Inasema faith is the realization of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Yeah. No, you don't know, but you acting, because it's like there is
you have evidence
yeah
of those things that you don't see ama don't know. You have evidence
then
for that.
you act in accordance to
To
it.
that body of evidence.
Maybe
Unaona,
that's
si kitu yenye unafanya tu ati unaamua nina trust Mungu that hii mwaka ninapata gari. No, it doesn't work like that. Unaona, the form of knowing that biblical figures were operating in ama the kind of faith they were operating in, it's one that meant life and death for them.
yeah.
Unaona, there's something they knew. Manze, there's mi ushinda nikisema that unapata nowadays venye tunasomanga Biblia, nowadays venye we understand the Bible, we miss a lot because tunaisoma from a point of things that we know, our experience of things.
That's the point.
Let me give an example.
The point, no, you're viewing things according to what you know.
Yes.
Most of the times you'll miss out the mark.
Let me give you an example. There's this part, very interesting part in the story of Abraham. So Abraham was under siege. Alikuwaga anatakiwa by some nations. They were rallying against him, I think. They were rallying against him. There was just a battle that was happening. Alafu, the Bible records that now what Abraham did, he chose 300 men and he divided himself amongst those 300 men. And imagine 300 men went to war against 5 nations. How is that even possible? Because tutajiuliza if it's possible, because tunafikiria 300 men can't handle 5 nations.
That's based on
what
you know.
Exactly. So there is a prophetic, let me call it just a prophetic understanding to it. That it has, when Abraham was told by God that I will make you a father of nations, these were not just words. These were not just mere promises as we understand them today. Ilikuwa ni kama there were certain laws that were written that everything that Abraham did was bound to succeed. Like hakukuwa na another option when it comes to Abraham. So the understanding is Abraham already was a nation. So when he divided himself against 300 men, I know it sounds ridiculous because that people jana feel like it sound ridiculous. But
what wanasemaga, what you don't know doesn't kill you. Maybe.
But anyway,
hako najua that tutaenda to face our
wacha hivyo. Now unaona this 300 men, unaona whatever Abraham did, he divided himself against 300 men. These were men who didn't even have any prior military training. Hawakuwa wanajua war, hawakuwa wanajua anything, but Abraham just decided to divide himself against them. So ikakuwa ni kama each of those men was a nation. So these were now 300 nations against just 5. It's the one battle that is recorded that didn't have casualties.
And
yes.
How did they...
That's the point. How did they manage all this? We do not.
I'm trying to sip from the fruit of knowledge.
So unaona this kind of faith from where Abraham was operating, mahali alikuwaga na operate from. There are things that he knew about spirituality ama the supernatural ama God himself that it was no longer hakuwa limited by what he knew. Like now his reality was kama ya Adam and Eve. Alikuwaga anajua akifanya hii kitu, this is what is gonna happen. Because this is what happens in this dimension.
You don't have the evidence.
Exactly. Let me give you another example. Think about this. Think about this for a moment. Mtu kama Moses. God told him that I am making you a god. Wewe na Aaron, I am making you a god before Pharaoh. Do you know this is not about diplomacy? Unaona hivyo venye ati the president can appoint you. You're very respectable in the society. The president to appoint you to go and represent the nation of the Republic of Kenya, maybe to the UN or any globalist kind of an organization. Utaenda tu. There's nothing special about it. Utaenda uongee
Alex,
udanganya
there is
watu
this
huko.
aspect of the Bible which talks about being a wise fool. It's like pia being a fool si mbaya.
There's that, yeah, sure. But
I'm not sure, but there is this, I don't know if it's Proverbs. It talks about a wise fool being blessed. It's like there is some sort of being a fool that comes to an advantage, because if you don't know something, it won't kill you.
But it depends.
I'm not saying, but
from which perspective,
Yeah.
ama from which definition we're using to define a fool. Unaona?
Yeah.
Because unaona when the Bible mentions certain things, so hata umefanya nikadeviate, umenitoa kwa kitu nilikuwa nasema. I was saying mtu kama Moses, he was made a god. You know that didn't mean ati anaenda tu kimangoto mbele ya Farao na namwambia we mbogi inafaa iende. There was more to it that acha tu niseme we have no conception of. But kuna venye alikuwaga ana act. It was something that elevated the reality of Moses, that he could literally influence certain laws that could affect the destiny of the people of Israel. Unaona? Ati huyu msee anaenda on top of Mount Sinai, anaenda anaongea na God, ati akirudi his face in a shine. The hell do you mean, bro? Ati what do you mean by his face in a shine? Ati to a point, at 120 years old, God had to look for means to put Moses to death, because umse hakuwa amezeeka, hakuwa anatembea na mkongojo, macho yake was still very very bright. Actually God aliambia Moses, we fanya aje, enda upande juu ya mlima, go die there. Like Moses even chose to lay down his life. Sijui kaona keja natasema hapa. Mse kama St. Paul, let's bring it even to St. Paul. There's a story about, I think kama see you, the shipwrecking that happened, sijui kama ni Malta ama ni wapi. Kuna an accident that Paul got, that he went to, so I think ship iliharibika, alafu he was swallowed by the sea. Ati alikuwa chini ya uko kwa maji sijui for how many, sijui ni hours ama ni days, for days on, na umse akudedi. What do you mean? You know, unasomanga hadi stories za some saints, ati kuna mse alikatwa kichwa, akachukua hiyo kichwa, akaendelea kupreach. Mse kama John the Apostle, ati aliwekwa kwa a pot of boiling oil, na umse hakukufa. What do you mean? Kutoka hapo ndio akapelekwa to the island of Patmos, and that is where he wrote the book of Revelation. What do you mean ati Peter akikuja mahali kuna crowds, wase wakisikia Peter anakuja place fulani, he didn't even need to touch people ati for them to get healed. You know, touching people to get healed is in itself already very extraordinary, but ati shadow yake, ati handkerchief, ati tunaambia mse fulani, wewe tuma tu handkerchief yako itatuponya. I think that is why most of these things are labeled as fairy tales. Wanaona kama these things are just
but don't you see how the Bible, it's like it's something that's not from this earth?
What do you mean that it's not from this earth?
Ndio hiyo inaka fairy tales, inaka parables. No, it's not accustomed to what we know.
So unaona the people at that time,
I asked you how does a parable sound to you? How comes Jesus atuambia for you to be considered first among men, you must first consider yourself.
At least unafikiria hapo kunyenyekea venye wase watakubeba ufala. You want to present your ego. You must be known. You must be in charge. Yeah. Kama si hivi,
you see, it's something that's not from,
it's something that we can't know how to explain it really.
Yeah,
we can't even know how that reality is
patterns like. Makes sense.
Now, actually, those people, the biblical whatever, apparently they sort of interacted with certain realities. They knew of certain realities. That is why when they decided to do certain things, ziliwa affect design tu fulani ama zilikuwa na certain impact.
It's like there is this aspect of man being a product. It's like, let's say you are the manufacturer of things, and you manufactured a product. You're the one who wrote the specification
Yes.
of things. Nini, 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 nini.
You know how it works, and you know
Only the one who made it. Ama the
it's a
mind
question
who,
of who.
yeah.
It's the who behind
Yeye
it.
tu ndo anaweza jua like the limits of the product.
George
But the product itself ikianza some like I was made for this, I was nini. It's like now the child's play, fool's game. It's like the only person who can know how the product function is like the manufacturer. And in our case, when we decide to use our knowledge, our own understanding of things, just a child's play.
You know, I kind of think that is why unapata, in as much as we are Christians, we go to church, we do all these things, we still sin. Like, we know something is wrong, but we just do it. It's simply because we do not know.
Yeah. Ama asubuhi vile unang'ang'anaga kuamka asubuhi. Wewe unajua nafaa kuamka 5. Acha alamilie. Unachukua simu unaitupa. As in, it's like there is something.
Unaona, hizo ni vitu very mundane.
Yeah.
Very, very mundane. Zenye we are trying to grapple with. But yet there is something we can grapple with. There's something I think if we truly start thinking about it.
Ama
We start actually arguing.
How comes you know that nafaa kusoma, but hiyo time ya kusoma manzi ufeel kusoma.
Yeah.
It's like there is something contradicting at between what you know and how things are at that moment in time.
And especially by the ukianza this kind of a journey that you're sort of seeing things differently, you get to a point where even to do something is very, very hard because unashanga sasa hata nikifanya what for?
Doesn't matter.
Unaona? But I think if there's any sense to if at all we understand what wisdom is that you just see faith. You just hope, let me say, from just our level, from what we know, you just hope that whatever I do, itakuwa of consequence, of positive consequence, of positive impact. Lakini sasa there is something we are called to do. The whole corpus of biblical narrative inatuambia ye are gods. And in part I actually believe that is about this body of wisdom, knowledge and understanding that the Bible is calling us. Nishasema it's about the fear of God. So us understanding what that actually is, like that is the knowledge, that is the only wisdom, that's the only knowledge, and that's the only understanding we need.
Understanding pure things from the principles that Christ taught.
Yes.
That's the only thing that can guide you, not your own knowledge.
Exactly. Unaona, Biblia inasemanga the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom and understanding.
Yeah.
Another verse talks about God's treasures are with those that fear him. I think so. Unaona, nilikuwa nasema those figures, those who operated from a knowledge of God based on fearing him, they knew wakifanya kitu, this is what is likely to happen, this is what they actually expected. Wakifanya hii, this is what's going to happen. Lakini sasa sisi we are not sure. Hatuko sure tukifanya kitu kama hata ita happen. Hatuko sure hata tukiamua ku live a certain way kama ita happen. Unaona, that is why I'm saying all that is very, very mundane. Hizi vitu zenye tuna try ku pursue, they are very, very mundane, but we just need to realize that there is something. Kuna a point where we need to start, and the point that we need to start is by, let us really think about what the Bible is saying in terms of the fear of God. Let us really think about it. Like, let us really, because I believe that is where everything is.
Actually, from my end, I'm proposing this idea of thinking from a kind of thought that's not part of the simulation, if there is something like that. Yeah. As in, it's like, yeah.
Hizo zingine nikikaa nikiomba, you know, there are moments where I sit, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not even so sure that these prayers I'm making Well, I really don't need to be sure, but I don't even know how to pray.
Ni kama di mtu yake lilia sweet. Amelilia sweet but manze sweet ndio itamharibu.
Yeah.
And whatever you're praying to God is what
we're gonna win this, we're gonna understand, we're gonna perceive things, if at all, tukiwa in a position that we actually know the unknown. Unaona faith. Unaona if we truly have the evidence of the unseen.
And actually learning how to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, okay, anyway. Hapo sawa, thank you so much.